Yo, it's popping. It's the pride of the East Side, DJ MA Sitter, and this is East Side Certified. Sit back, relax. We got a dope guest in the building, man. Sochi is here. 312 Music Award Latin Artist of the Year recipient. Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
Never been played, let them sleep where they lay. Ain't no charade. Until this day, I kill the track and stand over the grave.
Never been played, let them sleep where they lay. Ain't no charade. Until this day, I kill the track and stand over the grave.
Never been played, let them sleep where they lay. Ain't no charade. Until this day, I kill the track and stand over the grave.
Never been played, let them sleep where they lay. Ain't no charade. Until this day, I kill the track and stand over the
Call
grave.
the game like a coordinator before Sega show.
When you're holding me, electric chemistry, it's so blind to see. I'm melting you, just take me away, nothing to prove. I'm here.
No doubt. So you got a lot going on, right? I don't even know where to start, but let's start at the beginning. Who is Xochi?
Sochi is an artist. I'm an all-around artist, humanitarian, wife, mother, daughter. I think that I've held a lot of different titles throughout my career, but I am overall just a creative artist who loves to put my time into art and community and curation, the culture of what Chicago is. I also grew up on the east side.
She's so east side crazy.
But who I am to the core is like straight. I'm South Chicago, straight up. Like, we are a city that was built off of grit and hard work and dedication. We dealt with corruption. We dealt with the city, and I think that where I come from a part of the city that was disintegrated after the steel mill. So I was surrounded by people who were done bogusly, So my job right now is to turn people's pessimism, right? Because we grew up in an area where it was like, we didn't know. Maybe we shouldn't have been here right now, at this time. So my purpose is people. And if I can try to inspire the minds of the next generation, or even my generation or our older generation, to open up to what the world really can be, right? The city is full of so many people that have just only experienced their own small neighborhood, haven't even experienced going to the Sears Tower, and haven't had the opportunity to kind of experience outside of what Chicago is, and sometimes we got to go outside of our own city to get recognition.
Absolutely.
So I'm just proud to be here. I feel like it's been difficult for me to package myself as a whole, but that's why we got teams now.
Facts.
Right? Why we pay people to do that.
Facts.
Because sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I'm proud to be here. I'm thankful that you have this platform for me to come on and just kind of speak my own truth. And I think that I wish that more people had opportunities to be able to speak on the things that we're about to discuss right now, because I know we're about to get deep.
We gonna talk about a lot of good stuff, man. We got a lot of history to unpack. We got a lot of music to unpack. We got a lot of accomplishments to talk about. Like, you just all around, like, just I'm so happy for you, right? Because like I had a chance to have a front row seat to a lot of stuff that you were doing and that you wanted to do, and to see like how it's all manifesting now, and coming full circle for you is so dope, right? So my question is now, like, when did you say, you know what, I want to take being an artist serious, I want to be a professional and really like push myself to do this?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know.
I've been doing it for a long time. I feel like I really started to become an artist when I turned 8 years old, I started playing piano, and
Okay.
I'm a classically trained pianist. Taught at the South Chicago YMCA, the Suzuki Music Program by my godfather Javier Cruz, and you know, we always have those people behind the scenes that kind of inspire us to do different things, and Javier was definitely one of those people that kind of just opened up my eyes to the industry. He was an amazing musician and singer and performer, but he spent his time in South Chicago teaching kids how to play piano, and that's what made him happy, you know? And I remember being a kid, being so excited, like, you worked in the industry, like, tell me all about it. And he's, I can curse, right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, do you want me to tell you how when we were in Germany with the police, I had to shit in a bucket because we didn't have no bathrooms, you know? Like,
word.
so he was giving me that direct insight as to what things were at such an early age, you know? My dad, he was lead singer of a punk rock band, Dead Still Mill, that was legit. North side, you know, especially coming from the southeast side, it's like it's hard to get your feet in the door when it comes to those bigger venues on the north side.
For sure. Still is.
Still is to this day.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch my dad be on stage on the weekends and put his time in practice and songwriting, and he did a lot of humanitarian work, which was inspiring for me because he still held a maintenance mechanic job. You know, before his accident, he ended up having an accident, but before his accident, he was second in command at Columbia College as an engineer.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I was able to have people who inspired me to not necessarily do the huge artists. Like it would be cool to be famous, and I think that when we're kids we kind of have that idea, like, yeah, I want to be a superstar, you know. But then as life goes on, you meet these people, teachers, mentors, older and people that just kind of inspire you to see that there's sometimes life that's bigger outside of just the fame and the fortune and being recognized, you know. This is the first time that I'm ever being recognized for anything that I've done, and where it's cool, I don't do it for the trophies.
Right.
We don't do it for the trophies.
For sure.
We don't do it for that recognition. And I think that starting off just music wise, those were two people that just really encouraged me to be creative and to start singing on stage and to being comfortable in my own skin being an artist. And it includes so many different things, you know, because art isn't only drawing or music, it's also cooking and, you know, the curation of events. You can have an art in anything that
Absolutely.
you do. And I think that I find the joy in creating those avenues for myself that say, this is what I want to do right now. Like, this is what makes me happy. Yeah. You know? Dope. And that's beautiful.
Absolutely. So you just hinted on it. Well, you just mentioned it, that you are the 2024 312 Music Awards Latin Artist of the Year recipient. Congratulations again. How did that feel? How did it feel to be nominated? And then how was the award show? How was it when you actually accepted the award? Like, explain to the people what that means to you.
You know what? The nomination alone is something that it hits home for me. You know, like, you've known me for a long time. I'm not a person that really likes to be too far up my own ass, if that makes sense. You know, I feel like I always have to keep a level head about the things that I do and how I speak and my motions with things. And the nomination in its own was like, man, that's dope. It's dope to just be in the room, you know, in the room, in the category. And I think that what the 312 Music Awards is doing is it's giving a lot more indie artists the recognition that is important, you know, because we've been doing this for a long time. I know that you were nominated for DJ of the Year as well, and it's something that, although it's it's not a huge event, you know. Like, think the Chicago Music Awards, which we have won, worked hard to win with Urban Grind TV. It's like, you know, it's harder to get into those avenues, you know. So just to even be nominated, it was dope. I think that the city really does need things like that. It needs these spaces for people to get together and just create that unity, because Chicago hasn't had the best success with music within the music industry within the last 50 years. You know, at one point was the number one.
It was the king. Yeah,
it was the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know, and so many great artists came out of Chicago outside of the Kanye Wests and the Common. We're talking, you know, people that have traveled through here, Fats Domino and the old school artists, Coco Taylor, like BB King. These are people that have roots in the city, and you can hear it through their music, you know? So, man, it's just an awesome opportunity. I told you, you know, walking into the building on Sunday, I wasn't nervous, but I experienced some anxiety, social anxiety, as you know, as comfortable as I am speaking and on camera. This is XO, you know, like I kind of got to pull itself out of me to where I'm focusing on what I need to do. And you know, I think working on TV helped a lot.
Absolutely. Sure. I'm with you.
You know?
100% with you.
We all had to go through those awkward interview days.
Right.
And I think that walking in, I really came in humble, because I didn't think that I was going to win. I am completely understanding that, I was nominated for Latin Artist of the Year, and I'm going to push for that since I was nominated. But you know, most of the music that I do is R&B, you know, hip hop, kind of like a different vibe. So I wasn't necessarily walking in like, I got this in the bag. This is mine, you know. I think that I walked in the way that I needed to, with respect, humbled. I made sure to, you know, meet some of the other nominees that I was working with that I was against. And give them their flowers too.
For sure, yeah.
Because it's easy. It would be easy for me to say that I'm for sure gonna win, when me and you have experienced so many losses.
So many.
You know, we have so many high expectation for shows and events that don't even come through. Oh, sorry, we can't.
Yep.
We can't even play.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
I invited one friend to the award, you know, to the award show, and thank God I had my producer Ron, the producer, was there with his family and stuff like that. But it's a feel good feeling. Like, man, it's humbling. Yeah. You know, because it really does make me think. You know, my husband reminded me the day of, I was just in my thoughts and zoning out, and he's like, you worked your entire life for this. And I'm like, you're right. Yeah. Like, you're right.
This moment I deserve is win or lose. Yeah.
And I think that when we come from places that are kind of negative, you know, we aren't necessarily seen. Where we come from, it's like, if you even get out of the neighborhood, you won.
Facts.
You know?
Facts, yeah.
So if you're able to like reach that part, that's enough. And I think that we come from the city that likes to question things like, oh, what you think you doing? Oh, you DJ of the year now? You don't know nobody, you know?
That's a fact.
You know? And in my head, I don't ever want to forget that. Yeah. I don't want to ever forget the losses. Because those are all wins, you know? Like, being in the building was a win, regardless if I won or not. But
but you're the champion. You here. So you've been you've been doing a lot of great things social media wise lately, and I know you don't really like social media that much. But I know you've been doing a lot of great things on social media. One of them that I really appreciate is your vulnerability. You've always been very vulnerable with me, but like, just to see like you talk about a lot of the traumas that you went through, and just talk about like your relationship with God, because you don't see a lot of people be that vulnerable to like just speak about who they truly are. What made you want to step in, what made you want to be that transparent with people, and let's talk about some of the stuff that you've been through.
Yeah, no, I think that it's interesting because when we first met, I had EXO Live. I was hosting with Urban Grind TV. I was moving a lot, right? And I think that for a while there, and you've known me for a long time, I hid a lot of my trauma, a lot of my addiction, a lot of the things that I was dealing with behind closed doors, you know? So I was talking about trauma that I had not really fully understood yet, you know? I was talking on mental health things that it was good for me to talk about, because it's always good to talk about, right? But at the same time, at that time, I was battling things behind closed doors that nobody knew about. And I think after I had to step away from the business for a while, because it did beat me up. I'm not going to lie. It's a hard business to be in. It's a hard commitment to make when you're stepping away from your family and, your home, and you're committing time to things that at the moment it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. It started to feel like work.
Yeah.
Started to feel real workish. And I'm like, you know what? I already work.
Right.
I don't need
I got
no more
a job. I can't have another job.
Right.
I'm talking about my job. Yeah.
Right. So I think that I had and really work on me and what I wanted, and my home, my foundation, the relationship with my husband, the relationship with my oldest son, and now my baby. I had another child, and I think that being vulnerable has really helped me to process some of the trauma that I've experienced. And when we had first met, it was only maybe 2 or 3 years after I had experienced a home invasion. I was a victim of a home invasion on the southeast side. And I think that right away I got into work. So people didn't even realize that I had even been robbed.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, so I didn't. When I saw it on social media, it was like, whoa, I never knew you experienced that.
And you had known me
for a long time, yeah.
For a long time. So I think that, sometimes we process things in different ways, right? So I was dealing with all of this background work, hustle, where I put a void in front of my eyes. And when you're working so much where you're not stopping, breathing, soaking it in, how do I actually feel right now about this? You start throwing yourself into things that are, overly sensitized, and you're walking into rooms where you're not even wanted in that room, and you're so blocked off.
You try to force yourself to be there, like, because you feel like it's safe, but it ain't nothing safe about that room. I know 100% what you're talking about.
Right. So I really did. I had to take a step back. I had to focus. It was a beautiful thing, because by the time I turned 30, I became a mom again. And I was, the first time I became a mom, I was 19. So I was a child, having a child, So I really got a chance to enjoy the space of having a newborn, enjoying that time with my baby, really getting back the time that I had that I wasn't able to have with my oldest, And I think that as an artist, we find inspiration in the best things. And when you start learning about yourself and start asking those questions and stopping and thinking for a while, that's when you start really getting inspired again. And I feel like after kind of stepping away, I stepped away for maybe 2-3 years, which is a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I didn't even realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stepped away for 2 or 3 years, and then I started singing with my dad's band.
So that was what I was going to get into, because that's what I did notice, right? I noticed that I didn't see you putting out a lot of music or a lot of content for a while, and then I saw that you were a part of a cover band, right? You're the lead singer and pianist in a cover band, and I got to see the joy that it was bringing you again, and I was like, oh wow. And then the transgression from that became you started putting out music again, or you'll send me something like, check this out, tell me what you think. And I was like, wow, she's back. Like, so is that valid?
Yeah, I can say that, like, once I started working with the band, there's something about, I'm a musician, you know, and I had doubted myself as a vocalist, as a musician for such a long time, and I stepped away from it. And it's like people really honestly didn't even realize that I was a musician. And I think that it was kind of a beautiful thing, because I think as an artist and as my own manager, it's easy to be like, oh, well, I'm an artist. And then they're like, but I can be like, oh, well, I'm the board of director of a nonprofit, and would you ever want to come and work with kids? People respect that a lot more than when you're like, oh, I'm just an artist. So I stepped away. So me getting back into the music, it was like perfect. And Ron, the producer, he reached out to me right before pre-COVID, like early March 2020, and reached out to me and was like, hey, I've heard your music, like if you ever want to get in the studio and just like work on something. And by that time I had been with Shake, Rattle and Roll about a year, and it was like, I can do this, but if I'm gonna do it, it has to feel right. Went into the studio, and within 20 minutes, I'm okay with being so low. You know, it was a full song, 30 minutes. And I'm like, all right, I think this could work, you know?
The solo is a banger, too.
And it's, again, it's just a progression. It's been a progression of easy work. It doesn't feel like work. It's easy. It's like things kind of just have been falling into my lap graciously. And when it comes to my faith, you know, life still be lifing.
For sure.
Lifes, you know. In 2021, my father slipped and fell, fractured a C4, C5, and is now paralyzed from the neck down.
Wow.
I've had to become, a full-time caregiver. Thank God my mother has stepped in, and she's really been helping us with that. But, that takes another level of commitment.
Yeah.
Vulnerability. And I think that it was 2 weeks before my dad's accident that I started going back to church. And again, it's like we don't realize why God puts us in these situations, you know? And it was like fall after fall after fall after fall after fall. Problems with my son. He's dealing with addiction. I have to be a caregiver to him now. We don't know what's going to happen to him. Rehab, like all these things that are just would naturally break down anybody.
Yeah.
But I finally had to let go of the control. Because I think that all of us...
You preaching.
I think that all of us have that idea of, the whole, manifesting, and I want my dreams and all this stuff. And we don't realize when we're not even ready for what we're asking for.
Man.
And I really had to get broken down. I had to lose some of the closest people to me. I had to step into my own, like, feeling comfortable, right? Because that in the back of our minds, we're always hearing that you're not going to amount to nothing. You're not doing enough. You're not doing this. And I had to stop saying that and be like, you know what? I don't even give a fuck about tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with right now. I'm doing pretty good. And it's crazy because during that time, finding my faith, I want other people to feel at peace.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes that vulnerability for somebody to be like, man, Soch did it.
Yep.
And I work really hard at maintaining this, PTSD, BP2, like all this stuff that could be on my shoulders. I do it without medicine. I create more than ever. I my addictive personality is now in finding the peace that Jesus gives me. And sometimes it's through music, sometimes it's through philanthropy, sometimes I like to read books and start book clubs and bring people together in different types of ways. And ever since I started doing that, where I'm like, all right, let me just let go and just kind of do what I love and feel good about it, things have progressively gotten better. And I think that social media wise, I'm glad that you enjoy that, because I feel like it's a double-edged sword, right? Like the same time that I'm getting 5-6 followers, I'm losing 8-10 at the same time because I'm doing it. But I'm not here for clickbait.
I hear that.
You're not going to catch me shaking booty on the internet. Sorry. I'm not going to be discussing things that don't resonate with here. Because I know what it's like to be broken and traumatized and sorry for myself. And I know what it's like. I don't want that. And I don't want anybody else to be like that either.
Word. Did you do therapy? Did you ever go through therapy?
Yeah. Honestly, therapy is something that I still keep into my life. I've been
best thing I ever did.
I've been lucky enough to have been dealing with the same therapist since 2015.
Okay.
I think that after I lost a very close cousin of mine in 2014 from a drunk driving accident, and it pulled out some ugly, dark things that I had kind of pushed away for quite some time. And thank God for my old boss. He recommended me to an amazing clinical therapist who has been a liaison. And I think, we all like to vent.
Yeah.
We like to vent to, you have you're in a marriage, you like to vent to your wife, but sometimes it's like, how can you vent to your spouse without putting that pain on them?
Yeah.
How can I, so it's good to have that liaison where I can speak my truth down to the nitty gritty,
as open as I need to,
as open as I need to, knowing that we are covered under patient doctor privilege,
right.
Doctor patient privilege, to know that I can say whatever I want to do. I can be whoever I want to. I can sound as crazy as I want to, and she can sit here and be like, well, everybody thinks crazy, but it's about what your actions do. So as long as you're not acting on those crazy things, and sometimes you need that,
For sure.
I think that therapy, though, is something that in our culture is seen, oh, you're crazy.
Yeah.
We come from people who just work, oh, you got a problem?
Go
take out the fucking trash.
Get you some water. You'll be all right.
You're going to be all right. Chill out. You're going to be good. But I think that this newer generation, millennials especially, have done a lot of work to break generational trauma. And, sometimes it starts with me. It starts with, we personally, self-reflection, self-assessment, how am I feeling right now? Recognizing how your body feels in certain situations and how your body reacts to certain traumas or triggers and stuff like that. And until you do that work, it just it stays on you.
For sure. So how do you balance everything? How do you balance being an entertainer and a boss and all those great things, and career-wise, and still go home and be mom and wife and all of and daughter, all that?
I can say that right now I'm in a very amazing place, especially when it comes to I still hold a job. I work for the #1 law firm in the world, and I work in their overnight. I work overnight, so I work midnights from home, Monday through Thursday. So on top of everything that I do, I still have a home that I have to take care of,
Word, yeah.
And I think that when people hear about anybody work. It's like 9 to 5 is the ideal time, but I did that, and I wasn't getting home until 6:30 at night. I wasn't able to make my kids dinner. I wasn't able to spend that quality time with my husband, you know, and I'm off 3 days a week, you know, 3 nights a week. I'm able to really enjoy my life in a different ways, and it's a sacrifice that I choose to make so I can be there for my family. I also think that it's very important that I have a schedule that I have to keep. I am on a calendar system. If things aren't worth my time, I'm sorry. Pay me.
I hear that.
You know, we have to be, I think that I've become very, very, very cautious with my time overall, because, you know, money comes and goes. You can buy
whatever you want. Yep.
But you can never get that time back. So a big part of who I am as a mother is also rooted with what I do and how I like what I love to do. I'm not a person that likes to stick around the house and be, you know, I'm being Martha Stewart and like all, like I wouldn't call myself that type of wife, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I offer my home a sense of security because they know that mom's gonna get it done.
Yep.
You know, regardless of whatever. And I think that a big part of me being a strong wife, a strong mother, a strong, you know, daughter is in regards to still doing things that I love, you know, being creative. If I wasn't being creative and singing and, you know, I go to practice twice a week. I have dedicated time towards this, and it's a lot of time, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes a very strong person, as you know, to be with someone who wants to who wants to be a part of this. You know, it does. And I'm really lucky and blessed in a lot of ways. My husband is like you've met him before. He's a very stand-up man, and you know,
shout out to Ty. You're a good dude.
Ty, my man, my boo. No, but it's I don't know. We're living in a really, really different time where everybody wants to dictate how a marriage should be, how, you know, life should be. Oh, by the time you're this age, you should have this, that, and the other. And honestly, I think that when you let go of that, when you let go of that idea of what things are supposed to be and just really search for genuine happiness, and making sure that you're spending your time and your efforts into the people that love you and respect you and pour into what you do, you know, as a creative. I love that. I love when people are supportive of what I'm doing that I love, because it just makes me feel like, man, I'm doing, you know, getting that little Todd telling me like, oh, you've been working for this all your life. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you right.
Yeah.
You right, baby.
So you released a video last summer, and one of the things that I found funny about the video, I saw a caption that read, "This Chicago, this is not no bodega, this is the store." Like, we don't do that. But the vibe, real dope. Like, talk about the song, the video.
So Ogun, please, like Ogun, Mr. Cabron himself, he is a beast, and I love working with artists. He is genuinely an artist, a visual. He's someone that I can be like, I got an idea, and he's gonna be like, bet I got a homie, he's in Wicker Park.
Word.
We're gonna set it up, and it was all just one day shoot. And
wow.
Again, I think that when you're doing certain things, you got to spend money, you know. I spend money on my visuals, I spend money on the boat that I was on, I spend money on the hair and makeup that I had, and I'm not afraid to invest a little bit so the quality is great. And, you know, Ogun is someone that I work well beside, so I'll send him something and I'll be like, this my idea, and he's like, oh, we gonna make some movies, you know, like that's that energy you need. And I think that until you get that, like, that energy, that click with somebody, especially as a creative, like I need to be able to feel like I'm walking into rooms and they're not questioning my ideas, they're rolling with it. Let's go. You know, so the full idea, it actually the song started me walking in and telling Ron, you know, I want to do something. You know, you're hearing all of this like Afro, you know, Caribbean style that's really, really being hot right now. Reggaeton is hot. You're hearing a lot of African, you know, Omale and
Afro beats,
right? Afro beats that are really killing the game, and I love all music, so I'm like, let's give me some like good vibes. Let's do some Caribbean vibes.
It's a dope summer vibe too. I love this joint,
and I love that it's still like shout out to Shamig too, because Ron, the producer, he's like, you know, my cousin, he's in Miami, he does reggaeton. I'm like, cool, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I think that I had a few people in mind to do the song with me, but again, who's gonna come up with some stuff right away when you need it? Not know, I'm waiting 2, 3, 4 months for someone to send me a verse. You know, so we winded up getting it in. I think that the song is a great mixture of still Chicago, summertime Chicago. I'm feeling fine because we outside. You know, it's just good vibes. And I think that I'm looking forward to, like, I have this new album coming out. The entire album is real. It's kind of emotional because I wrote it while I was dealing with the stuff with my dad and with my son. But moving forward, man, like, I got a team behind me that is like
Hold on, because that's my next question. Congratulations, you got a management deal. You just announced the management deal about a week ago, as well as you mentioned now that you got a new project coming out. So what else can we expect from you?
So right now, I feel like, especially after this win, I'm running on a high. I was able to perform at a pre-Grammy event in Los Angeles. Congratulations. Yeah. And, you know, everything, I feel like God blesses us with people, right? And my manager, Nelly Vasquez Rowland, has been somebody that I've worked with actually for the last 12 years. She was former CEO and president of a Safe Haven Foundation, which is the #1 sustaining program for homelessness in the entire world.
Wow.
Yes, she was helping over 3,000 people a year by the time she had retired from working as president. Amazing. Yeah, and I had worked with with that organization for the last 10 years. I hosted their 5K events. I performed at a few of their concerts that they would have at their 5Ks, did different events for formerly incarcerated women and stuff like that. So you wind up building these relationships with people that, you know, she was always very valuable, a very, very, very valuable woman to look up to. You know, someone who's Latina, comes from Pilsen, started working in the financial industry, then got into philanthropy work and built like a multi-million-dollar industry from that. Like, it's inspiring. And last summer, she called me because of my son, you know, as a friend. She had seen that I was having some issues and just called me as a friend. And from there it was, and I'm like, well, Nelly, you know, I would love to be your muse, you know, you want, don't you know, I'm ready for it. And she's like, well, are you sure you're ready to have a manager? I'm like, girl, I need a team. Like, come and speak on my behalf, you know? And she, honestly, we winded up signing right at the end of 2013. So I started off the new year with a fresh management deal, and she has been
2020
at the end of 2023.
I was going to say, wait a minute, you've been holding out. No, I'm playing.
The end of 20. So it's been a few months, but I just, you know, sometimes you got to, business is business,
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think,
is this your first time having a manager, or?
I had a manager once before. It didn't really work out.
Okay.
I think that it's important when you're working with someone she respects me as a woman, as an artist, as a mother. And I needed somebody that's going to know me. She's a woman of faith. I don't need nobody who's going to come in and say, okay, well, this is going to get you some followers. So go move this direction.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. And yeah, so right now I'm really excited. She's like, we're talking about bigger shows, Riot Fest, like, let's go. Listen, there are some things that I cannot quite discuss right now. Of course. But we got some heat coming. I got some heat coming, and I have a team behind me that is like fully giving me all reign. They're like, be weird, be quirky, and I no longer have to be my own manager anymore. So I no longer have to think about myself as like, okay, well, what does everybody else want? Now I can be like full Sochi XO, like, what do I want to do? Let me bring in some blues. Let me bring in some jazz. Let me bring in live instruments. I want to work with a live band. I want to be doing some funky, let's bring in some funky new wave, like house. I'm finally at a point in my life where I feel so comfortable and like blessed and happy, content, at peace, where I'm like, I want to have fun.
Listen,
I want to have fun.
I resonate with everything you saying so well, because I too recently I've got a manager. I think it's been about a year now. I've worked with different managers in the past, but don't it feel good to feel like you finally being seen? Man. Like, and when I say seen, I mean like somebody who you can tell an idea. Sometimes it just be an idea, like, you know what, I was thinking about this, and the next thing you know, they got a whole game plan behind something that you thought about. And like you said earlier in the interview, like, you got to be careful what you ask God for, because you got to make sure you're ready for it. And so sometimes I'm like, wait, like, I mean, yeah, I said that, but I didn't have a game plan yet. Like, I didn't know, like, this was, and she was like, nah, this is what we doing. Like, you want to do this, you said this. And so that, like, being nominated for the 312 Music Awards was so gratifying, because again, I felt like I've been nominated a lot of times, but this one was more like I did a lot of great things this year, and I know like the progression has,
it's humbling.
It's very humbling.
It's humbling.
Especially because I ain't working as hard as y'all think.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, when you have people that are behind you, like, even just to kind of hear, she'll text me and she'll be like, hey, superstar. And I'm like, it's
right.
like, and it's like great, because sometimes you need to hear those things. You have to kind of sit in your greatness a little bit. And, I'm in a position right now where she's leading me to quality people, and she's a powerful voice that's speaking highly of me, and when we first started having our conversation, and she starts telling me the real numbers, like how much do you think that it takes for an artist to get put on, and then you start putting numbers behind it, and it was like, damn, this is someone worth value who's giving me a number that I probably wouldn't have invested in myself.
Word.
But we're going to look for investors for you, you know. I'm building a team right now. Right now I'm working with Renegade Territory and fully making me a full product brand, the Sochi brand as a whole. Which is beautiful.
Absolutely.
I've been working brands and helping other artists
since I've known you
for so many years.
Yeah.
But to put a label on what I do is very difficult, right? So having someone who's like, yo, your brand already, I commend you, I wouldn't lie to you, and these are people that are working with top tier artists, top tier brands, right? So I'm never going to be that person that's going to say, oh, I know it all, I know what's best for me. Sometimes you need that team behind you that's just going to be able to lift you up a little bit, put you in certain places, and to really be able to let you shine. And I love that, like, I'm finally at that point in my career where I don't have to chase every event. I don't have to chase every project. I don't have to chase going here or going there. If it doesn't bring value to me, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't do it. But you know what? Reach out to me in the near future, and we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. When we get in the project, what's the name of it? You gonna
Beast
keep
in Me.
Okay.
Beast in Me.
Mm-hmm.
Beast in Me. Yeah. So this album, I feel like the last album was living through my trauma. It was an ode to my past. You know, some of the stuff that I gone through, and this album was really an emotional ride through my present.
Okay.
I've made friendships in this industry. You know, like your family
For sure.
to me.
Fact, same.
Your family
Yeah.
to me. And with Ron, it's like it was maybe a week or two after my dad's accident, and like he's like, you want to come into the studio? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go in.
Mm-hmm.
Go in, and his wife made albondigas, and I'm sitting there like being comforted by a friend who's just allowing me to come in to their space to create and to cry if I need to, and to be emotional, you know. And that is where I think that a lot of my creativity and some of the quirks and the ideas that I have with my music, it comes with how I'm feeling at that very moment. And this album shows all of my vulnerability. It shows the strength that it took. It shows the power that I felt in myself to believe in myself, to be like, you know what, you can be a great wife, you can be a great mother, you can be a great daughter, you can be an artist, you can be a business owner, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a mentor, you can be a board member,
a model,
a
brand ambassador, everything that you are.
I can do whatever it is. And I am finally in that beast mode where it's like, you don't want to wake up the beast in me, you know.
Word.
She don't play too kindly, you know.
Word.
This is I don't want to walk back into a space that isn't true to myself. And this is the album that's going to be like, foot down, let me rub it down a little bit, get to know who I am. Either you like it or you don't, and it's cool.
Yep.
We good.
I love it. Soon
We're working at, so right now, like I said, we're working on fulfilling the brand. I want to make sure we're, you know, when it comes to this business, it's good to have people behind you that have a strategy, you know. So I'm working with a team that has a strategy behind it, and I want to work the best strategy for what I'm investing in, you know, because this takes time, it takes money, it takes effort, you know. And I am at that point where I've got all of my product ready, right? I got my album finished. I got the album photos finished. I got my videographer, Ogun's on call. Like, I got NFTs in the line. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to play this? So before I fully, it'll definitely be out this year because we are working for Grammy consideration for next year, 2025. You will definitely
get that. I'm gonna give you early congratulations on that.
Just listen, I feel like I'm just. It's so easy now.
Yeah.
I worked so hard for such a long time that now it's like, oh, here's this opportunity. And I'm like, what the fuck? Am I even ready for this?
Right. How was it hard to relinquish control? Because like for so long managing myself and had to handle it every day, to now I just get the emails and the calendar updates to say, and it feels weird for me to, like, when people that I'm close with, who I've been, you know, handling as clients for years, reach out now, and I said, nah, you got to reach out this way to, you know, to book me now. You can't just call me. Like, was that hard for you to relinquish that power to let somebody else handle that? Because it was for me, but it's so beautiful now.
Yeah, I think that it wasn't necessarily hard to relinquish the power because everybody loves the help. Like, I'm a business owner as well, so I saw the benefit of having someone speaking good like behind the scenes
Yeah.
for me,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of making those calls and sending me in that right direction. But I think that because I handle so much and I do so much, I'm still putting my time into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But it feels great to kind of just have that support system where it's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, like even with me and you text me, you're like, oh, you're gonna come on Eastside Certified? I'm like, hell yeah, I ain't calling my manager for that, you know, like, and I told her, hey,
Right.
just so you know, I'm coming on
go,
Eastside Certified with MH today. She's like, make sure, okay, that's great, superstar. Like, you know, that type of stuff. So I still do handle a lot of my business, but I think at the same time, it's also nice to be like, sometimes you don't want to deal with that business. Sometimes, and being a woman in this industry, it's easy for people to be like, thinking that they gonna put one over on me. And I'm like, so it's nice to be like, email my manager.
Yeah.
And if it don't go through, then it don't go through. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. Sometimes it's nice to kind of relinquish that, because we have to play the devil's advocate. It's like, oh, well, I'm the artist. And then they're like, oh, well, you're my boy. So can't I get the DJ hookup?
Yo.
And you're like, no, weddings cost more.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. You just ran my mouth.
I already know about the wedding. Everybody that I deal with when it comes to like photography, videography, like, and I'm now a vocalist, so I do weddings and stuff like that too, where I'm like, you know, that costs more.
Right. So, last question before we get up out of here. I want you to give somebody who's watching right now some inspiration. Maybe they stuck in that area of not sure if they're gonna make it, whether it's in entertainment, whether if they're an author, whether with something creatively, whether it's just school or anything. They just don't know what not necessarily what path, but like they might just need some motivation. What would you say?
First and foremost, I would say to use your art to your own advantage. I think that it's important, number one, to get yourself, even if you're a solo artist, you're a DJ, you make food for other people, you host, anything like that, make yourself a sole proprietorship, get yourself an LLC, so regardless of wherever you go, whatever you're doing, it's of benefit. I think that we don't do this for money, but it's nice at the end of the year when I'm able to use my business as a tax write-off to say, no, I invested in music, I invested in hair, I invested in this, I invested in videos, I invested in marketing, I have this much travel when it comes to moving around, because most of the artists, a good 80 to 90% of the artists, even just here in Chicago, they aren't certified at all. So when you're not certified and you don't have anything behind you to kind of benefit the work that you're putting in, it feels more like why am I doing
like
this?
A hobby,
like, right. And it's something, it's discouraging. It's very, very discouraging when you're doing all of this work and you're not seeing anything back. So first and foremost, get legitimized. Put your business first. If you got to spend $400, $500 to get yourself an LLC, do that. It's 100% worth it. You can tax yourself off, and every single thing that if you buy cameras, if you buy lights, if you buy anything, your time is not going to be wasted, and you can write that off at the end of the year. So if you're paying taxes right now, you can cut some of them taxes down, and that's how the rich stay rich.
Yes.
But as inspiration, I would also say that take all of your L's as wins. I think that the more L's we hear, the closer we are to our wins. And it's easy to get discouraged in a business that is made to tear you apart. But as an artist, stay true to who you are. Remember why you started. Don't let go of your integrity and your morals to try to please the world, right? I think that me and you have seen so much working in this industry, and so many very, very talented artists that sold themselves way too short.
Yep.
And sure, they might have a big following, but it's like they're not being respected for the work and the art that they're putting in. So 130% from the very beginning, like, respect yourself. Don't let go. Don't let this industry dictate who you are.
Word.
Don't let them dictate what kind of work you should be doing. Don't let them dictate the moralities that you have with yourselves. And also pay it forward. Pay it forward. Make sure that if you learn something, you're spreading that to the next artist who's coming up and asking you exactly the same thing. Because there ain't nothing like a good solid team behind you that's going to call you to do an interview after you won a Latin Music Award from the 312 Music Awards. There's nothing like it. So you look out for people, and people will look out for you 120%. Don't ever let go of that integrity.
Facts. So we was calling you before you won the award too, though.
Oh, I know. This was already in talks. I don't want it like that, but it's just so important. Because me and you're allowing artists to come on here and really have conversations. How many people are doing that?
True.
You don't have to be doing it.
True.
You could just easily be a DJ.
That's it. It's easier too.
It is.
It's easier.
It is. It really is. And I give you you deserve all your flowers for that.
Appreciate it.
Because at the end of the day, all we have is each other.
Yeah.
And I think that, as I mentioned, I think I said something like that. Like, we got to stay unified.
Facts.
We have to work together. Chicago is such a melting pot of art and creativity and culture, right? That you see the entire world working off the culture of Chicago.
1,000,000%.
And it's coming from corporate America. It's coming from people who do not come from here.
Chicago, yep.
Don't come from here. They're using the violence as a way to change policies, But is the news showing things like this? No, they're not. Is the news showing the humanitarian work that people are doing? No, it's not. So that's the reason why 312 Music Awards is important. That's the reason why we have to show people that we're unified, because trust, they are coming. And I think right now it's been more important to me to allow my people the knowledge that it takes to win. We want to build people equity. I want to teach people, I want to teach my community how to buy property and build businesses and create and find happiness and peace within themselves before they go to the world to find it. And right now they're coming. They're coming for They're coming for our properties. They're coming for our communities. Everything is being gentrified, and people are getting kicked out of homes that they've been in for the last 40 or 50 years. And we really need to teach our community how to start there. And again, if you're gonna do this business, better have some thick ass skin, cause I'm gonna tell you.
Just be ready for the journey. Like somebody said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because it's definitely a marathon.
Man, I've been recording for 20 years now.
Wow. You know what? It's crazy because next year makes 20 years of me being a DJ.
Wow. If that doesn't tell you our age, I don't know what will. We're young.
Right?
We're in our youth, just so you know.
Indeed. I appreciate you for coming through. Congratulations on everything. So much. And when you drop the project or you got anything else going on, you want to come back, just say, yo, MH,
absolutely.
We coming.
Yeah, make sure you reach out and follow me. I am as active as I can be on social media. Obviously, it's always a strategy because, I got to spend some time reading and spending with family. But reach out to me, MrsXOChicago.com. Mrs. XO Chicago on all platforms, Sochi on Facebook, and let's go. We're trying to build a team. We're trying to save souls. I'm trying to do God's work. So if that's what you're about, come follow me. Be my friend.
Word. DJ MH to the Sochi here, Eastside Certified. We out.
Eastside Certified.
Are you in tune with Eastside Certified? If not, you need to be. Eastside Certified is a platform dedicated to underground and exclusive content. Check out eastsidecertified.com for exclusive mixes, interviews, videos, and just added Eastside Certified Radio. That's right, we play some of the dopest underground music in the world. Be sure to stop by the shop and copy some Eastside Certified merch. eastsidecertified.com. Get in tune.
You're tuned in.
Tuned in.
Eastside Certified.